G'day folks. Well, in this video I'm going to show you how I solve this pentagram puzzle, and I'm going to do a block building method. I'll take you through each step that you need to know. I'm not going to be doing the entire solve on camera. What I'm going to do is each little bit and then just do one or two of them and then move on to the next part. So you'll have everything you need to go. It's a challenging puzzle, there's no question about that. So as I'm doing a block building method, I'm going to start with a face. I like to start with the white, so locate that white center and I want to place 5 of these star tips. And sometimes you can just, like initially, you might even just be able to turn the center onto one of the star tips, but let's assume that we can't. What we want to look for is to get a star tip in this horizontal position just below the face. So I'll just check. There we go. There's one there already. So if I think where that turns, when I turn this vertex, I'm going to turn that up and you can see that it goes to that position, which is what I want. I don't want to remove that, so I push it out the way first, turn it up to that position, and then bring back the center. That's one of them placed. And I'm just going to keep pushing it out as I do another one. So if I look around, I can't really see any other whites on that position, so I want to put one there. So I'm just going to locate one. Here's one. So I'm just going to first turn it up sort of in that general direction towards where I want it to be, and now maybe I'll turn it up this way. It's not aligned properly there. There we go. And you can see it's nearly to that point. Now, one of the things about the way these pieces move is that they kind of go 2 places, if that makes sense. So I would be able to get this to go here by 2 moves like that. I can also get this to go here, and all I have to do there is just to turn that vertex, and you can see that if I turn the vertex downwards, it goes down there. If I turn it up, it goes there. Now the question is, it's now on a horizontal, where's it going to go? I want it really to go there, so we'll just see, does it actually go there? No, it goes into that same first position. So even though it's on a horizontal, no good, got to get it onto another one. So let's turn it, if we turn it back down this way and then up, let's have a look. In fact, we'll turn it right around there, keep going around this way, and now we'll say, well, it's here, can I get it up to maybe this position? And if I turn again, I'll go the long way and I've got it into that position, and that's now going to turn to there. So I don't want to knock out anything else, so once again I'll just move that out of the way, turn that up and put the centers back. We keep doing that and until all of the star tips are done. Alright, well, once those star tips are done, the next thing is to do these wide triangles between the star tips. What I'm aiming to do is to get a triangle onto the corner that I want to place it on. In other words, I want it to go where this blue piece is, so I'm going to put it on here, and I just want to turn it around. So before I do that, I push out the pieces that I've already done. So I get rid of that, and I get rid of that, so I'll just remember the order that I've done that. Now I can just grab that vertex, and as long as everything's aligned, I can turn it up. It's now in that position. I bring back those pieces that I pushed out, and that has been placed between there. So what if it's not on one of these positions, it's somewhere else, like here? Well, that's actually kind of where I want it, because these corners, these vertices will actually turn. You can see that one is where that piece was. It's turning up like that. And that's what I want it to do. So the question is, the only piece that doesn't turn up with that vertex is the white corner, or this side of the white corner. So before I turn that up, I just want to rotate this vertex around. Then I can turn it up like that, and I've got my white piece there ready to go. And so once again, turn that off, turn that off. Sometimes I go the long way here with the turning of this thing, and then turn it back, and that's done as well. Keep doing that till all 5 are done. Well, the next thing to do is to place the 5 corners around those wide triangles. And if one's already there and it's placed and it's oriented, we'll take that. So this white, blue, yellow, that can be our first corner. It's just an arbitrary corner that we put there, and then we're going to build the rest based on that. So for example, if that's a white, yellow here, we know there's another white, yellow that belongs here. So we'll go find that white, yellow. It's over there. So first of all, bring it over sort of around towards it. And if we think about the movement of corners, we can see that if it's going to go here, it's got to come from that position or this position. So I've got to move that corner into one of those two positions. Now I can't just move a corner to the adjacent piece. What I can do is move it twice around a face. So for example, I can move that down to there by turning that vertex. So I'll do that. And I can move it to there by turning this vertex. So again, I'll go the long way there, do that. And that's now in position to turn up to here. So I can turn it up. The only question is, will it orient correctly? So I'll turn it up like that, and that has oriented correctly. If it was not oriented correctly, all you need to do is just turn that vertex and make it orient. But this one is, so we place it there, that one's done. Keep working your way around. That's white purple, so you find the other white purple corner, away you go till all 5 of them are done. Well, once that's done, we go ahead and place the wide triangles that are just underneath these corners. So we've got this sort of very, well, the first layer here, we want to place the yellow wide triangle there to match that one. Don't worry about the star tips yet. So we think, where does this yellow triangle come from? And if we turn that down, we can see it comes from that position there. And so this one's going to come from that position there. So that's where we want to place our wide triangles. So here's one. How can I get it over to here? Well, you know it can jump 2 spots by turning that vertex. So I'll turn that around like that. And then because I need it in this position, I'll just turn that vertex clockwise to orient it correctly. And then I'm about to turn it up. But of course it's going to push this one out. If I just turn it up like that, it pushes the corner out. So we move that corner out the way. Push the, get everything aligned. So one of the residual effects of this puzzle. Push that triangle up and then bring the corner back, and that's kept everything there. Put a triangle. Let's do one more, see if we can do it without that rigmarole. And so well, here's a green one. So we want to get a green down to here or here. And well, we've got one here, so let's say we want to turn it across to there first. And then I want to turn it over to that way, so I'll just rotate it round so it goes there and then turn it up. Now what you're going to notice is that as I turn it up, this corner is going to be dislocated. And that's okay. So I want to turn it up, then turn that green one around so it's off the turning circle, and then bring my corner back just so I don't lose that in the mix. Now I've got the green, one of these 2 spots where I want it. This time it's going up this way, so I turn vertex out the way, or the corner out the way. Turn the, no, it's going to misbehave again. This one is my alignment. Here we go, turn that one up to there. Alright, well once those are placed, the next thing or the last thing on this layer is these star tips. And again, if we think about where they come from, turn that grey one down and you can see it's sitting on this horizontal part below that vertex. So that there is exactly where I want it. There or there will do just fine. And all we need to do is basically do an edge piece series, turn it up, up, down, down, and that will ensure that it places. Everything else around it stays there. It's as simple as that. If we want to place the red one and there's no red one here, we go and locate it and move it around until we get it in that position. Where do I want to go? Maybe up that way, and then I can move that to there, so I know I can sort of skip bits, and I can do that by going which way? That way. There it is. I'll go up, up, down, down. There we go. And just do that for the other 3. Okay, well now that that first face and this kind of first layer is done, what I do is turn the puzzle over, upside down, and I'm now going to go ahead and complete these 3 pieces here, the star tips and the centre between them. And I normally do each star tip on the left, and then each centre, and then each right hand star tip, but for this video I'm just going to do all 3 at a time on one face, and that'll tell you what you need to do. Why don't we do the yellow one? Let's think about this yellow piece first of all. Where does that come from? If I turn this up, that has come from this position up the top there. So I need to get a yellow piece such as this into that position. Now the way that I found to do it easiest is get myself a yellow piece on the top layer and consider where it needs to be. Well, to get to that position, it's got to come from this one or that one. So I think, well, I've got a couple up here to choose from now. So let's say I've got this one. I want to move it to there. I can move it across 2 places just by turning it down and then bringing that up. And you can see it's gone from there to there, 2 places around. Could have done it that direction as well. Now that I've got that there, I can turn that down to that position. So once that yellow piece is there, that will just come straight down to here. So I'll turn that vertex and it's placed. Done. To get the center in, I need to get the center first of all on the top, and to do that, I'll just turn it up there, if it's not already there. Now, I'm going to turn the piece that I just placed up that way. Now grab the center, turn it down, and return. And that center is placed. And even if all these other ones are done, that will still not affect anything else. And finally we come to this piece here. Alrighty, well, to place this one, the way I do it is to firstly get my desired piece into this position. So I'm calling this the up left face. I don't care what anyone else calls it. This is my up left face, and it's the lower right position, I should say. So that position where the blue star tip is. Now, to get it to there without disturbing other stuff, if you think about where that's coming from, I can turn that from that top left position on the top face. So that's actually where I'm aiming to get my piece first of all. Looking for a yellow piece. Let's find one. There's a couple at the back here. Let's get them onto the top face. Let's get one of them onto the top face. Now you remember that I said I wanted that around here. I can't go 1 space, but I can certainly jump 2, and then I could jump another 2. So how do I jump 2? Well, I go down, and then I always get this wrong. There we go, I just got it wrong. I come up to there, and I want to go around to there. So again, I go down, and then up. So that's now in that position, and I can turn it down, ready for what I'm about to do. So that's kind of the first little mini step. Get your desired right hand star tip into that position. Okay, now that it's there, what I do is this. I turn these pieces up this way to push that one out. I then am going to turn these 2 off out of the way. So I'm going to do that by turning not this, but this vertex, which will involve my desired piece. So I'll turn them off out there, and guess what that does? Puts my new piece in a position where I can turn it down exactly where it needs to go, to there. Then I can bring those ones back and finally turn the whole lot back down into position, and that is done. So start there, come up this way, push it out, turn your new piece down, bring the whole lot back down. Do that for all 5 of these faces, and we go on from there. Okay, well, the next thing that we're going to do is to place the wide triangles. I'm calling them the 3rd layer wide triangles, as in that's the first, that's the second, that's the third. So we've done that stuff, we're now going to place these triangles here. To do that, I want to grab a desired triangle and place it on the upper face in the position really directly above sort of where it's going. These are the 2 triangles. Move up there, place it in that position. So again, if we've got a triangle here, I know it can go across 2, jump 2 every time, so I can jump it across to there, spin that vertex, and then jump it back across to here, and then just spin this so that it is actually on the top face. Now I'm going to turn this to get that star tip out the way. That's just annoying, doesn't help us at all. So it's the wide triangle I'm interested in. Now let's place this one. So to place this one, I want to bring it up like that. Now I'm now going to turn this out the way. So I'm going to move this vertex here to push it out the way. And then you can see another piece that we've already done is over here. That's okay, because we're now going to turn this vertex into position. You can see it doesn't affect what we've done. Even if we'd done that wide triangle, that's still not affected. Once that's done, bring the yellows that we've done back, then finally push that out the way. Now what you'll see is that those blues that moved up are now moved back, so that's fine. That wide triangle has been placed. So to place the other one, we do the same thing. Find another one. There's one here, so I've got to get that up to the top. Now if that's the only one, it's not. So if I had to do that, I would be moving it up to the top, getting it off, and then making sure that doesn't get disturbed, but I don't need to worry about that, or I shouldn't. Well, I will in some sense. So I've got one of these that I've got to move up without disturbing the other stuff. So I think, well, how can I do that? If I turn this vertex like I did, see, I can't turn this vertex because it's not attached there, so I'll turn that like that, and then what I'm going to do is just move that out of the way. So this is really purely for getting this wide triangle into position. Once I've done that, I can put that stuff back. So that's a little interlude which you might have to do. So now I can grab that yellow triangle, move it to this position, twice around to there, and then twice around to there, put it on the top face. This time I want to place that one, so I'm going to go up this side, push this out the way, turn it on, bring it back up, and move it down. And you can see none of the other stuff that we've involved has been disturbed, and we've got two wide triangles there. We want to keep doing that for the other faces. Well, having done those wide triangles, I'm now going to place the star tips between the triangles. So the green and the pale yellow, I want them replaced with red. So the position that I want a star tip is these positions here. We'll do one at a time. So if I'm going to place the right hand star tip, I want this one placed on the left there. And what I'm going to do, if you consider this, the center, these two, that triangle and that corner, and just look at that, to me it looks a little bit like a tie. I'm going to move that entire tie up to the top. So I'm going to turn its position down, turn the whole tie on, turn it up to the top, and undo that. And at the moment, of course, the only parts we've got of the tie are that piece and that piece, which is why that's all that appears up there. Now what I'm going to do is turn this bit up to the top. And when it turns up to the top, let's see which place it goes into, and it goes into that left-hand place. And so to keep that still, but move the other stuff, I want to turn the right off. Now turn it up, and go the long way, and then bring that back. Now having done that, I'm going to just put the tie back into its position. Just reverse what I did. And what you can see is that this one has been placed between the triangles. Nothing else has been moved on this face or any other face. And so now if I want to do this one here, because the right hand star tip I had to get on the left face, the left hand star tip I want to get down to that position before I start. I've got one here. I get confused with this all the time. So no, that's not quite in the right position. So to get one to go here, I need to get that piece to that position. So we know how to do that. Move it around the top face. There's a couple of turns. Do that again. And now that it's there, I can turn that vertex around and it's in the position that I want. So because my star tip is in that position, this time I'll bring the tie up through this way. So turn the top, turn the tie onto that, undo those moves, so that's now there. Now again, I'm moving it up to this position, so I want to push that stuff out of the way, turn up my new piece, bring it back, and you can see those are completed. Now I'll go and put it back, and voila, those star tips are placed between the wide triangles. We just continue doing that for the other faces. Well, now that we've got those star tips done, these two here, what we want to do is place the wide triangle that's between them. So we'll complete that part of the, say, the yellow face. So what we want to do is grab the last remaining wide triangle, it's sitting here this time, and put it up to either of these positions. So we'll get it to the top first, it's on the top face, and now I can just twist it around to there. So it's in that or that position. Now if it's in that position on the right face there, what I want to do is once again move the tie up to the top face, just like last time. Alright, use all the moves. Now I want to turn this around. Obviously I want both these bits out the way, so what I'm going to do is turn the left part off, the right part off, rotate this vertex, and going to make it go that way. There we go. And then bring that right part back first, then bring the left part back. You can see it's in, and now just move its position up and put the whole tie back into place. Pretty simple. We've done it for that one. Just keep doing it for the rest. And once that's done, to get the corners in position to complete the whole of the first half of the puzzle, what we want to do is simply place them with an edge piece series. In other words, we want them on the top layer. So here's the last, what is this, a red, yellow, pink. I'm actually looking for a red, blue corner. So let's see if we can locate that somewhere. There it is. So it's down here, so I can just turn it up to the top layer. First of all, it doesn't disturb anything on the lower half. And I want to move it around so it's going to come down to here. So we think, well, where is that going to come down to or from? This tie here, because it's going to replace that position. We go, where does that come from? Well, it actually comes from that sort of thing, and then potentially that would then go back to here. So what we want to do is basically place our red corner on one of these positions. So at the moment it's over there. I can bring it, theoretically, I can bring it over to there. Now, what I think is, if I turn it down that way, will it correctly orient? Yes, it will. The red goes in there. So that is correctly oriented. If it wasn't, I would just turn that vertex and I'm done. So there's a couple of ways I can do it. I can turn this one down and then turn that one down. I can do what I said first. So I might as well just turn this down first, turn this one down next, and then undo those moves. Alright, what we're going to see when that's done is that all the other stuff is still completely there, and that corner has been placed. We'll just do that for the other four. Alright, well now the first half is officially complete. You can see it's all done. We're going to start on doing the second half, and it's not quite the same, but the very, very first bit of it will remind you of it. It's a, sort of a piece at a time, and what that is we're going to place these wide triangles directly above the corners that we just put in. So for example, an orange wide triangle needs to go there. Well, to place that one, I want to grab an orange wide triangle and put it at the back, put it on the up face in the back position, so directly in line with it. So there's one of them. We're going to turn that over to, I'll turn it round first, turn it over to that back position, and just rotate that so that it is exactly where it needs to be. So again, ignore that star tip, it's the wide triangle that I'm interested in. Now what I actually want to do is take this corner out with an edge piece series. So for example, I might bring it down like I was just doing. So what I've done is I've now taken that corner that was in here, taken it out with good reason, and now you can see the orange is there. I actually want to turn that orange down to that position. So before I do that, all I'm going to do is turn the corner out of the way, down this way. I should say all I'd like to do, there we go. Turn it down there, bring my orange piece down, and turn it back. And once that's there, the orange is attached to that corner, I can now replace that with the edge piece series. And you can see all the bottom half is still done, that corner is still in, and that's still there. Those star tips are there by magic, but they'll probably come out later on anyway. So we'll continue doing that, and we do that for the other four corners here. Alright, well we've got all of the bottom half and these triangles here done now, and so we're really ready to begin the rest of the cube, I guess, or the rest of the puzzle, and we're doing a piece by piece approach from here. There's just not enough space to be able to keep building it up, so we're going to resort to a piece by piece. Now there is a pretty nasty parity at the end, which is a single twisted corner, which is pretty awesome really, but we want to try and avoid it if we can, and there is a way to avoid it, and that is simply to get the corners now in position, or certainly in position, and at least know whether they're oriented correctly or not. So I would thoroughly recommend you do this step, and that is pretty simple, and it involves firstly going, well, what's this? This is the other blue corner, which is there. So I want to put that corner down here, but I want it to be oriented as well. All of these ones, you just turn them down there. You can see that's got to go clockwise, so I'll turn it back, turn it clockwise in its spot, and then turn it down. That one's placed. Do the same with the red wherever it is. It's up here, I reckon that's already good. The green one, that's good as well. The purple one, this is awesome. Now this one here, yellow, orange and green, that needs to be twisted anti-clockwise. So we turn it back up to the top, we twist it anti-clockwise, turn it down into its position, like so. And then of course this one's come out, so what we want to then do is we'll bring that one, if we bring that down like that, that's no good. So we probably, to get this one, this last one turned accurately, we'll say, well, that's got to be twisted clockwise, so we'll twist it clockwise around. We'll note this one is up here and has got to come back down. Put that in position, put that one in position. So all of these corners now are placed. Now please note that we're not placing them, they're probably not going to stay here. This is purely to avoid the parity at the end. So the only corners we've got left are grey corners up the top. And what I want to do is place all 5 of them, whether they're oriented or not. And I want to start by thinking that I can do any edge piece series that moves those 3. So I want to get 2 corners that are placed, so that leaves me with the last 3. So let's see if any of them are placed at all. That is not, no, doesn't look like any of them actually are. So I'm just going to go and place one of them at the moment. Where's this green, pink, grey got to go? That's got to go to this position. So let's move that to there, and this over to here. Very simple. Alright, that's placed. It happens to be oriented as well, but as I said, I don't care if it's oriented or not. Let's now place either this one or this one. We want 2 placed apart initially. So this one needs to be the blue-orange. Can I get that one there? I can. It's this one, so I'll move this up, put it on, turn it back into its position. So we've got those 2 placed now, and that will leave us these 3, which will either be placed or they'll just need a 3 cycle, and I reckon they're placed. They are placed. Alright, now with the grey corners on top, we want to just check now that we're not going to have a single twisted corner. And so we look at the ones that are not with grey on top. This one needs to be twisted clockwise. This one needs to be twisted clockwise. This one needs to be twisted clockwise. That is perfectly okay. If we had this clockwise, this anti, and this clock, that would mean we'd have one corner which was wrongly oriented, and we would need to fix that at this point by turning that corner, one turn, and then recycling home these other ones using an even number of turns. Or in fact, we wouldn't even need to bother with that because we're not actually trying to place the corners. So we don't need to do that on this occasion, so we'll turn that back to there. And the trick now, apart from getting this thing to turn, trick now is making sure that all our sequences are even numbers of turns. And that's fine if you have setup moves. If you have one setup move, it's no problem because you'll undo that setup move at the end. So certainly the corner placing sequence is an even number of turns, the center placing sequence is, and so is the wide triangle and the star tips. So they're all even. All we need to do is not do a single turn like that and leave it there. That'll throw things out. So now that that's done, we're going to avoid the parity at the end. We're going to go ahead and start placing the wide triangles. And I'm just going to, on a face, we've got these 2 down here and these 2 up here. I'm going to do these 2 on all the faces initially, and then these 2. These are done, so I won't bother with that. If we look at the pathways that a triangle here takes, if we turn that up, we see that that comes from that position. So that tie goes up to here. Where does it go then? Where does this one go if we keep turning it? We'll turn it down like that, and we'll see it comes from that position there. Now notice that the ones we're involving do not involve any wide triangles that we've already done on that lower face. So that's what we're looking for, and we're saying, okay, here's the pathway. I need an orange to go down here, so I'll turn this first, bring this one up, put it back in place, and turn it down. You can see that one has been placed. We just do the same thing like that for all of the others around here until the bottom ones are placed, and then I'll come back in and show you how to do the top ones. In fact, I'll cut in a little bit earlier and I'll show you what to do when you can't actually find a wide triangle in the correct position. Let us take as an example this one here. We need this to be pink, and I'll follow its pathway up to there. There's no pink there, and I'll follow it over and there's no pink there. Now there happens to be no pinks on this corner at all, but on this corner there's a pink at the back, and that's cool. So we've just got a setup move here. So if we follow it around, we know that we want the pink there. So I'm going to turn that corner, one turn. This is just my setup move, and get that turn, one turn like that. Now that pink is in the correct position and I can go and place it. And very, very importantly, you can see it's placed there. I've now got to turn this one that I did turn back to where it was. And that'll make sure that everything stays as it should. So continue like that if you need to. Let's keep moving. Okay, well that's all of these bottom ones done. Let's have a look at a couple of the ones here that we need to do. Again, if we follow their pathway around, we can see that tie there is going to go over to here. And then this one will go to there. So we're always looking at sort of that pathway. And in this case I want a yellow one to go there, and it's sitting there, so I just need to involve this, and again it won't affect the stuff that we've already done. Very simple, 4 moves, and that one is placed. Now what do you do if there is not one that you can actually use? And I'm just going to find one here to demonstrate. No, not that one. Don't like that one either. I do like that one. Okay, here we've got, this one needs to be green, and the pathway is coming to here. So that pink position, what I really would like is a green triangle sitting in it. And there is a green triangle here. So my setup is just to turn this face, and you'll notice as I do that, that position does not turn. So I'll turn that face, so now I've got a green available to me. And carry out the sequence, and then of course turn the face, or return the face for where it was. And you can normally tell what's going on just by the colours here matching up. So that's the procedure we do. Let's keep getting all of them done. Okay, well, all of the wide triangles have now been placed. You can see that. Take the green face, all 5 of them are there, and of course the grey face was the last one. I didn't even try to place them because once the others were placed, they had to be there. So they're done. We're now moving on to the centres. And for the centres, I'm going to use the corner piece series, and I'm going to just demonstrate that on a normal cube. So on a normal cube, we're going up, right, up prime, left prime, up, right prime, up prime, left. When we do that, we have 3 corners moving around on that top face. That's the main sequence that I use, I guess, apart from the edge piece series. I'm going to use the exact same sequence on here, but this is not a face turning puzzle. So instead of that, it's going to be turning vertices. So for instance, if I turn that, that's going to count as one of those turns. So what I'm going to do here is think the movement of the centers is a little bit different. There's still 3 of them, but instead of going 1, 2, 3 like that, it actually goes 1, 2, 3 across to that side. So all I need to do is have a look first. I might want to move, let's say the pink. I want to move the pink down to that position there. And at this stage, I don't really care where the orange goes. I mean, if the orange goes here, what am I going to have? The green will come back there. So the pink will place to there. The green will come back to there. So those 2 will place themselves. I'll then be left with a 3 cycle, which is fine. So let's do a couple of them. So once I've got a piece moving down this way, it is going to move some star tips as well. And that's why we need to do this before the star tips. So that is my upper vertex. This one over here is my right. This one is my left. So I go up, right prime, up prime. Sorry, that wasn't right prime, that was just right, and now a left prime. I'll have the correct algorithm on the screen. And then up, and now right prime, up prime, and what's that left? And you can see the green center has placed, as has that pink center. So that was just a 3 cycle of centers. It hasn't affected the other centers. That's as simple as that. So now we might find another 3. You can't get a swap doing it this way. As long as you've solved everything correctly up until here, you're going to end up with a 3 cycle. So at this stage we've got the blue, the orange and the pale yellow. So if I turn it around like this and I say, good, the blue can come down here again, that orange has got to go, well, it's going to go there. I want it to go here. So all I'm going to do as a setup is move that center up that way in readiness. And now I can go ahead and do exactly the same thing. And hopefully we'll have good turnage here. Something's blocked. I'm actually going to turn that back just so I don't lose things and unblock that. Here we go. That probably will be better. Let's give that another go. This is all part and parcel of this puzzle. That's better. Okay, and having done that, we did have a setup move here, so we'll return that. And you can see if we look at all the centers, they're all correctly placed on their faces, which is fantastic. Now, let's have a look and see if we've disturbed anything down here. I don't think at this stage it's possible to. Certainly all these things are in. Those wide triangles can't be, and all of the other stuff is still there. Great. Okay, so the next stage is to move on to our star tips, and this is by far the most tedious stage. So one of the reasons I do a block building method is to take care of as many as I can without doing this. Having said that, it's still going to leave, well, what is it going to leave? A maximum of 5 per face, 6 faces. I'm pretty sure that's 30. A maximum of 30. Hopefully some are done. I'm looking here. Well, I've got 2 on the blue face that are done, and I've got 1 on the orange face. That's it. Awesome. I've knocked it down to 27. So I've got 27 star tips to do. At the very least, that's going to involve 9 of these sequences if I manage to do 3 at one time. So this sequence will 3 cycle some star tips. It'll also move around some corners. Won't touch any wide triangles, won't touch any centers. Let's have a look what we're doing. If we hold the puzzle exactly the same as we were just holding it for centers, so the top of the pentagon pointing upwards like that, as opposed to that. So we hold it like that. If we look at a line going across here and follow that line horizontally, you'll see there are 3 pieces, the orange piece, the pink piece, and that blue piece. Those are the 3 pieces that are being moved. That's why I like this so much, because you can just see all of them. It's very clear, and it goes this one to there, this one to there, and this one back to there. No other star tips are moved. And it does move corners, but it's that, that, and that. So again, that's pretty easy to see. And if you do happen to get another corner from down here up into one of these positions through a setup, you can just move another one into its place that you don't mind disturbing. So what I would generally do would be just to hold it like this and say, well, is this going to achieve something I want? I've got an orange here. Well, I don't really want it going to the green face. What about the pink? I don't really want that going to there. What about the blue? See the blue, that's going to come back to here. So at the very least, I could place 1 there. I might do that. Let's turn it around, have a look, and see what it is from this. I've got a green to a blue to the grey. Don't like that too much. Pink to yellow to green. That's much better. So the pink's going to go up here. That's not going to place. That yellow one will go over here and place, and the green one will come back to here and place. So I'm going to place 2 with this one. Let me take you through this sequence. It's pretty simple. Here it goes. So what I'm going to do is this and this are my 2 key vertices. So I'm going up, up, down, down, and then those 2 I said, now I want to grab this one and do an up twist. Then the same thing, up, up, down, down, and I'm going to do an up prime twist. I just want to repeat exactly what I just did. finishing with the up prime twist. Let's have a look what on earth has happened. You'll notice there's a green star tip sitting there, and there wasn't before. The pink one that was there has gone here, and the yellow one has gone over to that position. 1, 2, 3, we've changed 2 of them. That's fantastic, down to 25. I hope you'll agree that is a pretty simple sequence, and as long as you remember you're always going on the left first, it's left up, left down, right down, and you always do the left up first. Now, of course, if you want to make the movement the other way, maybe I'll find one of them, you just do the exact mirror of that. Let's try something here. We can see we've got the blue that's in position, so I'm holding it like this and I'm saying there's that piece, the pink piece, and the orange piece. What I notice is that that pink is going to there, that's good. If I could get that orange piece to somehow go to a position over here, that would be pretty good as well. So let's try a setup, and we think, where does this piece come from on that face? Well, let's just turn it there. Turning it up, and there it is. So what we're seeing is that it's actually that position there with the blue piece. And so all that means is that I just need to turn that down as a setup, and this is one of those occasions, so I've now got my star tips in place. Let's have a think. The blue will go to there, the pink will place, and the orange will place here. It does move these corners. Now that one is involved, but it's not involved in the sequence. So that's going to be fine. So we're all good to go. We're going this direction this time, so we do the exact mirror. So this time it's right up, left up, right down, left down, and instead of an upturn, we're going to do an up prime to begin with. Right up, left up, right down, left down, and then an up turn. And what we just did, repeat exactly the same thing. Finishing with an up turn, and you'll see everything's looking pretty good back here. We did have a setup. You'll notice that piece there is still completely intact. Let's turn that setup back. What do we notice? Well, the orange that we had over here has now gone there and placed itself. The pink that was here has gone there, so we did place 2 pieces. That's the sequence. I've shown you both the original and the mirror. And really the hard part about this sequence is when you get closer to the end is finding the setups, and so I'll definitely cut back in with a couple near the end, and certainly the last one that I need to do. But that's what you do from here. Just keep plugging away, and when you run out of things to do on this face, you can certainly hold it up like that, and you can say, well, you can follow along that line there, for example. And tedious, but fun. Okay, well, here I am, and I've got 11 of these star tips remaining, and I wanted to show you an example of something where you can get 3 done, a little bit of a setup, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. One thing to point out is that you may notice that there are a few of these corners that are on the bottom half, even one there, that have come out. Personally, I'm not fussed by that at all, because the corner sequence is pretty easy and it's fairly quick, and this star tip section is easily the hardest part of the whole thing. So if that happens, well, I don't care. You may, and so just be aware of that. You make sure you want to get them not in that place up the top. But in any event, let's have a look. What do we got? What I noticed here is that I've got this yellow one. If I hold the pentagon like that, I've got this yellow one over here. I also noticed this piece up here, which is an orange. And those two are in a relationship. In other words, if I turn this vertex like that, you can see that the orange and the yellow are going to be able to exchange, or certainly one goes to the other. So initially I think, well, that's good, the yellow can go to there. Now that orange needs to come over here. That's not good at the moment, but I think, so I want it to land in an orange spot, preferably with a blue star tip in it, so it can go here. So I look down here on the orange face, there's a blue star tip in an orange slot. That would be ideal if I could get that over to there. So I'm not going to bother remembering that setup move, that's pretty easy to see. It's this that I've got to think about. How do I get that to there? Well, the first thing I would do would just be to turn it in that direction. So I'm actually going to turn it around to here, like that. Still, that's easy enough to get back because those two vertices don't collide at all. And now the blue one, I kind of see, well, that's a relationship with that one. So all I need to do is turn it up like that, and I have the blue going to there and placing, the yellow going to here and placing, the orange coming back to here and placing. So I'll get 3 done in one hit. The only real thing that I need to remember for the return is this bottom right corner or vertex needs to be turned back anti-clockwise. So I might even say rejoin the yellows. That's how I'm going to remember it. Rejoin the yellows. We'll see if we can do that at the end. So the direction is across here, and I now carry out that sequence. So starting with this corner. Yeah, finishing that off, I now go, oh, I had to rejoin the yellows, so I'll turn that like that, and now I can kind of see, well, the yellow's got to go there. Turn that back. What else has to happen? Well, quite clearly, the grey's got to come back to here, and all is back. Well, you remember we started with 11. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that indeed took care of those 3. That's an example of how to do some setups. I'm going to cut back in when I get to the last 3. Well, here I am, down to the last 3. In fact, it looks like the last 2. I've got a blue one here and a green one here, and that's all that I've got. They appear to need to swap. Of course, we've actually got a 3 cycle, and I need to involve another one, a third piece of either blue or green. So I'm starting with it like this, and I've got this on the line that I want. So there's my upwards pointing pentagon. This is already on that line, so I'm just going to call that the first piece that's in. Now I've got to involve another blue, and there's a blue over here that I can just turn down into that middle slot. And so I'm going to say, good, that's there. My only task now is to get the green over to that position. And at this stage of the game, I couldn't care less about the corners. If there's corners involved that it shouldn't be, doesn't matter to me at all. I'm just petrified of stuffing up this last 3 cycle when you've worked so hard for it. So here we go. How do I do it? I don't need to remember that. That's easy enough to do. So at this stage, got to get the green over to there. I'm going to do what to me seems obvious, which is to turn this vertex, put it over here somewhere. Alright, again, I don't think I'll need to remember that. I think that'll be fairly obvious when we finish. But that's the last thing that I won't need to remember. So the green is here, got to get it to here. Now I know that because it's here, it's kind of in a relationship with that, which needs to go there. So hopefully something will happen when I turn it down here. So what I'm going to do is turn my, I'm going to call it the down right vertex anti, and that puts it on a face down the bottom there, and then I'm going to turn my right vertex, which is probably confusing notation, but I'll hopefully remember it, clockwise. And so that is that one there. I'll turn that clockwise, and that has managed to appear in the right spot, which is great. And so now you'll see that I've got green, blue, blue, so I want the blue piece going to here, which will keep it done, this blue piece going to here, which will solve it, and this green piece coming back to here, which will solve it. So I'm just going to say, well, what did I actually do? Sort of put it in my head, make sure I remember it. From here, it was this lower part, anti-clockwise, and then this part, clockwise. So I've got to remember to undo in that order or in the opposite order to that, and that should be fine. So now everything's set up to go and cycle these pieces. Away I go. Okay, so that completes the actual sequence. And if you look carefully, you can see that green is in there, the blue's still there, and that blue has been placed. So we've done it. Just got to undo all those setup moves. And from memory, I did this one clockwise, so I've got to do that anti-clockwise. That looks good. Got to turn this one back clockwise. That is still looking reasonably good. Next, I had to get this piece was back here, so we'll turn that up to that position, and from there, if we remember, I can now see what's going on. Those three turned around to there, and thank goodness all of those star tips are now done, and that's a great thing to have completed. That's easily the most annoying part of the solve. Now you can see that I do have some corners out, but they're the only things left now to do, and they're pretty straightforward. So let me take you through exactly how you do that. Well, this time what we're doing is we're holding, you remember with the centers we held it so that the pentagon had an upwards pointing corner. We're now holding it so the pentagon's got a downwards pointing corner, and this around here is going to be counted as my up face. So when I turn that, calling it the up face, I'm actually just doing the corner piece series again. So this time that's my up face, this is my right face, this is my left face. So compare that to the center routine and you'll see it's very similar, just held in a slightly different position. Now when I do that, the corners that it's going to move, this one, and this one, those will be my three corners. And so I've got to think, well, what's got to go where? I'm looking for a corner that's going to roll down that kind of edge there. Now this one's in place and needs to be twisted. I'll show you later how to twist two corners. But for now, let's just find a corner that can roll down into its position. And what I mean by roll is if I can get that to move, if I turn that down there, I'm looking for that corner to roll down into that position. That's all I was trying to say there. So let's find a corner that's somewhere close to where it needs to be. This one here is. Now I don't think this will be able to, or will it? Yeah, it actually will. That green, white, purple will roll into that position. So in fact we might as well do the mirror to begin with. So I've got the green, white, purple that's going to roll down to there. That corner is going to go across to that position. So I want to place in that position a corner that has not already been done. And at this stage I'm not really fussed as to what corner it is. I just like something else in there. So this is a pure sequence. It's not going to affect any other pieces, which is why we've left it till last. Ideally green, purple, blue. I'd probably put this corner over there if I could, or I'd put the yellow, blue, what's that colour? Oh, yellow, blue, green. What did I say? Green, purple, blue? Yeah, yellow, blue, green. I'd put that one over here. That's actually there, so it's almost worth attempting to do that. So I think I will. I'll just turn that face like that. Don't know whether that will end up oriented correctly over there, but it will at least place, and that'll be better than nothing. So I've got these three corners here. How do we carry it out? Well, I'm going the mirror corner piece series, so it's theoretically, if I can actually get this thing to turn, and welcome to the Pentagon world, just got to find the blockage. This is terrible, I hasn't done this. Ah, there we go. So it's an up prime. Then I'm turning this over here. And a left prime, and an up, and then right. Up prime, left, up, right prime. Now you remember we did have a setup, so we're going to grab this and just unset it up firstly so we can see what's going on. Looking around we see nothing else has actually been affected, it's just corners. We see we've placed that one there that was up here. And you'll also see that I said I was hoping to put that corner in position. It'd be great if it oriented correctly, but it hasn't, but it just needs twisting, which we can do later. So the corner that was here went over to that position. Well, that's it. It's just a simple corner piece series. So I'm now going to find one which is a normal, so not the mirror, and do that one. Then I'll keep doing them until they're all either in position or in position but twisted, and then cut back in and show you how to do with that as well. Well, I've found one here, the green, red, yellow, that actually belongs over here, but I've noticed that I can turn that to this vertex by doing that. I'm just going to see whether that would actually roll now, and it looks as though it will roll down that into position. So I'm going to have that as the first setup move. I've got that corner going to there, and I know the third corner is in this position somewhere, so I want to put something else in that position, whether it's the yellow, orange, green slot, which happens to be that slot, so I might as well put that in, and that will be my second setup move. And so I've got my three corners now. That's the vertex that I'm turning as the up face, so this time it's an upturn, not that, it's an upturn, and then right, up prime, left prime, up, right prime, up prime, left. I'm saying that to ensure you understand it's purely the corner piece series. That's all it is. Now you can see that's put that third corner into the position, but it's twisted it. That's okay. It has put this corner into correct position and orientation, which is what we want. So when we turn that back, that's now done. So that's all we're going to do. Continue doing that. Get as many in as possible. I'll cut back in later. Well, we're down to the last four corners. I've got all the other corners in place, and the last four are in place but twisted, so we need to twist them. And to do that, I'm going to use something very, very similar to placing the corners. It's pretty easy, and it's going to twist, so they'll be in the same position, but we actually only have to worry about these two corners here. This one over here could be anything. Could be that one there. That's fine. So just to recap, we did the corner placement earlier on in the solve to make sure that we didn't end up with a single corner twisted. Let's have a look. We've got this one needs to go anti-clockwise. This one needs to go anti-clockwise. This one needs to go clockwise. This one needs to go clockwise. So two of each. That means they're all going to work out because we can do that quite happily. So just to recap, if you're at this stage and you end up with a single twisted corner, you haven't put the corners right back further in the stage, in the solve I should say. So go have a look there and make sure you do that. In any event, we want the corner here that's going to twist anti-clockwise. We want this one that's going to twist clockwise. That's all we care about. Here's what we're going to do. Carry out the same corner piece series first of all. Okay, once that's done, this corner down here, that position, that actual vertex, we want to twist anti-clockwise. One twist, and then move this one over to that position. That's now in readiness to carry out a mirror corner piece series. Away we go. Now, having done that, we did a twist of this, so we move that one back, and we also twisted this one, so we twist that one back, and you'll notice those two corners which were twisted are now not. That's it. So we'll finish off the last two. That one's got to go anti, that one's got to go clock. Don't care what that one is, let's carry it out. There's the corner piece series. Do the twist of this one and move that one to that position, and now carry out a mirror corner piece series. Move the pieces back, twist that. Oh my goodness, that is a great sight. And as you can see, all those corners have been twisted, and this pentagram is solved finally. That was a long solve. It's a challenging puzzle, and well, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that has shown you how to do it and that you can go and tackle your own. I have to say this thing is turning significantly better than it was out of the box, and I would thoroughly recommend, you can just have a look in there, and maybe you can see in that sort of thing. There's actually no sharp tips on these corner pieces. There's actually also no sharp tips on these star tips, and I took all of them out and I sanded them down. Probably took, including the reassembly, look, it probably took an hour's work. And I would say, despite in my unboxing saying, nah, I can't be bothered, I'd say actually it was a good move and it turns significantly better. And it's not a bad puzzle now. Certainly not brilliant, but it's not bad. Could have been brilliant if it was like this out of the box. So anyway, there it is, the Pentagram. I hope you've enjoyed that, and thanks for watching.